How's it going, Admiral Army? Addy here again, and today I wanted to start this video out with a bit of a joke. What is the difference between the GOP and a skeleton? The skeleton has a spine, of course. Comedy at its finest. Well, today we have this story. The $2,000 stimulus check has been, I guess, approved by the House, raising it from the measly $600 to $2,000. That's a pretty big leap, to be honest. And yet, would you believe me if I were to tell you that not getting the $2,000 is the GOP's fault? As everything is, you know, these GOP members, they just are always shutting down these perfect proposals. It's not like there's any reason why they wouldn't accept it. I mean, isn't it odd to anyone else that this omnibus bill, this thing that should be entirely separate from a COVID relief stimulus package, is somehow entangled with it? You have different facets in the omnibus, like Israel needs this Iron Dome 9 defense system, $73 million. Here you go. Who do I write this check to? And somehow that is tied into a relief package that is supposed to help the American people. I don't see any correlation there. I don't see why it would be necessary to add those two things together. But for some reason, the Congress, the Senate, the House, everyone just wants to put these two things together, these two completely unrelated things. And then, of course, the blame falls on the GOP when they say that they don't want to expand the budget even further to increase it to $2,000 checks. But they will actually increase it to $2,000 checks after the omnibus has been passed. The one with the Pakistani gender studies. Stuff that the Pakistanis actually like to study a lot. They do a lot of gender studies around there. Different bills for like inspecting how bugs can be digested for humans or something like that. I'm not even kidding. That's actually true. That's something that was in the plan. So as we can see, there is a close correlation between COVID and the omnibus. And as we would have expect, of course, this $2,000, this pretty much threefold change from $600 to $2,000 is all thanks to the Democrats, baby. They were out there putting in the work for the average American. They did destroy your business, but hey, here's $2,000 now. Even though it really wasn't even, I mean, isn't it like half and half, you know? There's 2/3 majority that is needed to pass it, but the Democrats were the ones who brought it forward. That always blows my mind to me. Like, how is it that the Democrats are continually being the ones who propose different bills? What do the Republicans do? What do these members of the House and Congress that represent me do? They do nothing but sit there and wait. Oh, what will I imagine Mitch McConnell just sits there. I wonder what Nancy Pelosi is gonna propose today. And do absolutely nothing to fight for the actual rights of the American people. They just sit there and wait for the Democrats to propose something insane, the Green New Deal. And then Mitch McConnell comes out from the grass. He's lurking around. Yes, now's my time to strike. Declined. Congrats, dude. You really fought for a lot of things there. You did great work. As he tells Trump, I really hope we can come to an agreement here and that Trump won't block this bill. What does this guy do? How is this a leader? Mitch McConnell, the leader of what? The dude literally looks like the librarian from Monsters University. Mike Wazowski. That's who Mitch McConnell reminds me of, in that this is the House Majority Leader. This guy couldn't lead anything. He couldn't lead kindergartners out of a school building, let alone an entire Congress that is supposed to represent the people of America. And let's just see how the two different sides here react to the bills being passed. Real quick, before this video begins, don't forget to Mitch McConnell, the subscribe button, you know, stab it in the back. Maybe leave a like, comment. It helps me out a lot. Honestly, likes and comments promote me in the algorithm a very good amount, but so does sharing the video. Share it with some friends, let everyone know. Maybe share it with Nancy Pelosi, tell her she sucks at the same time. Who knows? Might get something done, more than the GOP is getting done. And maybe consider donating to my Venmo. Support the Admiral at the Admiral Army at Venmo at Carson-Eastman-2. So we have Heather Cagle here, who is a Politico co-congressional bureau chief. Very official. I'm the co-congressional bureau chief. Yeah, very official title there, Junior. And she says, wow, Dems just got 2/3 support. Yes, the Democrats, because they proposed the bill. Like, it is so mind-boggling to me how they can just get away with these things. They slap the GOP around, and these people are so brain dead they don't even see it. They're like, they read this and they're like, well, yeah, the Democrats did promote this, so they did present this to us, so yeah. When this is something that the people have been calling for, it's like, when's the last time a Republican took a stand and decided to present something before Congress that they wanted? Never. I think the last time would be like back when our ancestors finally invented fire. So as we see here, Heather Cagle, someone who isn't very official, she's just sort of a sideline sitter who writes articles for Politico, I guess. And she's heavily supporting the Democrats. You know, she's taken a stand for these different progressive movements that will essentially eventually evaporate the American economy. And she also says, bill now goes to the Senate, where Schumer is going to try to bring it up under unanimous consent tomorrow. Republicans are expected to object, but unclear what happens after that. Some Republicans, like Senator Marco Rubio, voicing support for the bill tonight. Yeah, most of them are. I mean, most people would think, yeah, people need $2,000 for to recover from losing a job for 9 months. Yeah, I think that's a pretty adequate payment for that. Yet the Democrats provided us with that. Thank you, Democrats, for always coming to the rescue for me. Isn't it just so coincidental that in this statement here, Republicans are expected to object unless the GOP blocks it here? Always the GOP blocking stuff. The Democrats are just trying to do what's right for America, but these GOP Republicans, they get in the way all the time. As Republican GOP members are just the most archaic Stone Age relics of all time. They do nothing. I wouldn't be surprised. It's like Medusa had stared straight into their eyes and they're just a stone person sitting there doing nothing. You could probably knock on McConnell's head and a piece of it would just cave in and crumble down like a piece of dust. And yet he is a majority leader. He's a real strong leader. So with him being such a strong leader, let's look at his statements here about the bill that's passed. I applaud. This was the day before the $2,000 was added in. This was just when Trump finally accepted this egregious, disgusting bill for $600 relief and gender studies in Pakistan, things that don't even relate to it. He says, I applaud the president's decision to get billions of dollars of crucial COVID-19 relief out the door and into the hands of American families. I am glad the American people will receive this much-needed assistance as our nation continues battling this pandemic. This dude is so disgraceful, man. Get him out of here. What is this lizard person doing? People call Mark Zuckerberg a lizard person. No, look at Mitch McConnell. He is the most spineless, just, please, people like me. I just want to do what people like. The most sheep-herded mentality person of all time. I don't think he's ever had his own opinion about anything. He applauds the decision to pass this absolutely atrocious bill and give people $600, and he acts like, oh yes, this is a decision to get billions of dollars of crucial COVID-19 relief out the door. Yes, people will really feel that well received. $600 in my pocket? Awesome, I can survive at least a month. Maybe, depending on where you live. I'm fortunate enough that $600 a month could probably survive. I could survive for a month, but I'm sure that there are people that can't survive off of $600. And don't get me wrong, the improvement of $2,000 from $600 to $2,000 is a pretty large improvement. I think that is something that was necessary, but with so much spending on unnecessary stuff, it just really makes me question why. What is the motive behind this? Why is it that after this bloated, disgusting omnibus was passed with things that no one needed, as it was tied into a COVID relief bill, something that a lot of people did need, why are those two combined together, as well as why is it that now after the omnibus has passed, people are like, yeah, let's get that $2,000 out to the people. Let's change these things. Let's change the legislation. We'll get that $2,000 to you after you pass this egregious bill. It's probably because the amount of money that it would add on top of it would be a lot. And people would see that number and think, wow, damn, that's a lot of money. So now that it's a day past, people's memory doesn't last that long. They won't add up the numbers, and they won't calculate just how expensive it is to add all these unnecessary things into it. But I will. So let's check out this is the national debt clock here. Looking pretty solid for America, right? 128% debt to GDP ratio. That's a cause for inflation here. So I did the math. My trusty calculator here. So we take the $2,000 stimulus. Oh, yeah, okay. So Kamala Harris, Ed Markey, and Bernie Sanders they're the ones who claim this. You know, they wanted to do this for months before. $2,000 checks for everyone. What is this? It comes back. But Republicans blocked it. Third time already. 3 different articles. All of them say the Republicans blocked this bill. We need it so much. God, it's dumb. So these 3 people, Ed Markey, Bernie Sanders, and Kamala Harris, they weighed $2,000 per month payments to Americans amid the pandemic. So we look at the debt calculator, and let's do a little calculation here. Follow along. We take $2,000. They proposed this May 8th. It was May 1st, I think, but in May, 7 months ago, 2 months into the pandemic about. So 2,000 times the 328 million Americans equals $656 billion that would have been spent on a month of that. So then we multiply that by, of course, the 7-month span. And wow, that is $4,592 billion that would have been spent on this plan. Now that's a lot of money, you may say. So with that number there, we add that on top of the $27 trillion already in the U.S. national debt. And we get $32 trillion, of course. And then we take the U.S. gross domestic product and we divide the U.S. national debt of $32 trillion with the $4.5 trillion added on top of that by the $21 trillion in gross domestic product. And we get 1.5. So it would actually go about 150%. It'd be a little bit less than that, I will say. The math wouldn't entirely hold up because it'd be a plan that would, over time, send money out. It wouldn't be all at once. But still, that's 150% instead of 128% if we were to do that the entire time, give $2,000 out to everybody. Now that's a lot of money. That's a lot of inflation, and some would say that that is about the exact way that you would crash an economy, by printing off money to no extent and providing and having no products to buy with that money. There's scarcely any products produced and a lot of money printed. You get sort of the Venezuela experience where you're sitting there shoveling money into the drains because it is worthless. It is a piece of paper. No one believes in the currency anymore. You're going to buy a loaf of bread with a stack of cash. It's kind of like that would be a bad thing, I would think. Not to say that that's entirely what would happen, giving people $2,000 a month, but I tell you what will do that. Sending out these bloated bills trying to funnel money, launder, let's be real here, launder, who in Pakistan is looking into gender studies? Not a single person. I can't think of anyone that would be interested in that. I wonder where that money's going. The single fastest way to crash an economy while enriching the people who sit at the top, you know, the people who have these charities, these giveaways that allow them to reap the benefits, paying the salaries of the workers for that charity, 90% of the money that comes, while only giving about 10% to the actual research that's done there. Disgraceful politics, as always. But that'll be it for this one. Just a quick little update here on the stimulus bill as it has been increased. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and maybe share it with some friends. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.